Greetings and welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome back, and welcome back. You are listening to The Sweet Spot here. I'm Dr. Dillard-Suite. I'm your host on The Sweet Spot. As you know, I'm a board-certified psychiatrist. I work with elite performers. But more than that, I enjoy the privilege of connecting with you, as I have over the past 3 or 4 years, on a daily basis to discuss and explore the mystery we call life. Well, this week, as you know, if you've been listening, we've had the privilege and the pleasure of listening to the Queen, my wife, Darcel Dillard-Suite, our very first guest, who is serially present for every single day here on The Sweet Spot. And if you haven't been listening to Darcel's wisdom, not just her wisdom on Wednesday, because that's her show, but every single day, Darcel has been literally dropping the pearls of wisdom for us. And Darcel, thank you so much for your stamina to take the whole week to join me here on The Sweet Spot. We've really enjoyed having you here.
Oh, thank you. Anything for you, Dr. Sweet. Anything for you.
What a blessing. I'm so blessed and so happy. Well, today is Finish Strong Friday here on The Sweet Spot. It's not just any Friday, it's about finishing strong. And Darcel, when we talk about finishing strong here on The Sweet Spot, we're not just talking about crossing the finish line. Yes, I do work with athletes, and a big part of it is being able to finish strong. You've got to finish the quarter, you have to finish the game, you have to cross the finish line of the race, you've got to win. And so finishing strong is a thing. Now, more than that, it's about what does it take to finish strong? What are the ingredients of finishing strong? So, Darcel, look, it's no secret. In our relationship, everybody knows you're the finisher. You get it done. People are just afraid of Darcel because Darcel gets it done. And I want to ask you, if you don't mind, what would you say is the main thing that gets you to be such a finisher?
For those listening who really don't even know me, and why would you? The truth here is we all have to have a desire to get to the end. And I vibe off of completion. And most people who do know me know that I vibe off of completion. You know that. I am that one person, and we talked about this a couple of days ago, who if I lose something, I will look and look and look and look till I find it. Now, most people who know you know that you wear contact lens. And many times in our own relationship, you've lost the lens or it's popped out somewhere. And I don't stop till I help you find that lens. So that sense of completion, it takes you from the Take Action Tuesday, the action, the planning, the figuring things out, the win for me, the finish for me, the strength in getting the completion is finding that lens or finding the thing that's lost. So let's just take it to a different level of all of us out there who are professionals and we're doing our job. Completing means finishing strong, getting everything completed. And there is such gratification in it. So that's what I get off on.
Wow. Yeah, well, I've seen it. I remember one time we were at the pool. We were in Philadelphia. That building we were staying in had a pool in it downstairs. And I remember one time we were in the pool or whatever, and my wedding ring somehow, I don't know, it came off my finger or whatever in the pool, and it was like an Olympic-sized swimming pool. And I was like, when I came out the pool, I'm like, well, I don't know what the ring is done. And not for you. I remember this clearly. This is years and years and years ago. You dove back in that pool, and I don't know how you were like, I got it. And I'm like, holy cow, how did she do that? And to me, it speaks again to your persistence, your perseverance, your determination. And I wonder if you could comment, Darcel, a little bit about persistent, because those of us that know you to be persistent and determined. I know our family, we all depend on you. Like when there's something that really needs to get done, we call Darcel. Where did this determination and this persistence come from? And how do you define those things? How do they work for you?
I think that in our DNA, and all of us are coded, right? It's the family background. A lot of us have done the DNA testing and the ancestry.com and all these different things. In our lineage, some of this is really how we're built. And because we've talked about my parents earlier in the week, Dr. Sweet, Bobby and Louise Dillard, they were finishers. I watched them just do it till it was perfectly done or even just done. We talked about done is better than perfect, right? So you have to have a drive, you have to have a motivation. That persistence, the perseverance, you see it in sports. You have to really want it. But
Mhm.
that doesn't take a sick person. That doesn't take a weak person. That doesn't take a person who's compromised. That doesn't take the individual who needs to day off because they have had no recovery. They're exhausted. That doesn't take a fatigued mind. We have to be sharp to complete. We
Mhm.
have to have that strength in order
Mhm.
to be strong. All that means building it up. And so over the years, this DNA that we're talking about, we are building ourselves up so that when we get to these big jobs, these big moments, these big demanding situations that we've put ourselves into because we're the leader or we're the executor of it, we got to finish this thing. Otherwise, you're going to be embarrassed or laughed at. And we don't like that. So a lot of our attitude, not that most of us are narcissistic in that attitude, but you need just a smidget of that in order to love yourself enough to get yourself to the point where you're not going to take anything less than the completion.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I mean, you mentioned again so many things. I gotta tell you, Darcel, keeping up with you is just its own metric, right? Because you just nailed so many things just now there for me that I'm like, okay, we talked about desire. You have to have this desire, right? You also have to be exposed to the right kinds of influences like the parenting. You have to really not be afraid to deal with the fact that there could be a setback. There's so many ways in which you just answered that question that I actually feel as if the best possible thing you can do here is this: you do not give up. You do not back down. That's what I've learned from you. You don't shrink from the challenge. And this is why you are the go-to person. This is it because you don't back down. You don't sidestep. You keep it going. You are a completer. And I feel as if that is an identity. That is an identity. And I'm wondering, for people listening out there, is it, Darcy, were you born like that or were you shaped that way by experiences and by what you saw? Is it a combo? I'm just trying to understand because, well, like going back to the pool example, I was just going to buy a new ring. I wasn't going to go back in that pool and search the entire pool for a ring. Like I just it didn't, and I'm like, well, is that my DNA or is that, what is that? So talk to me about it. Talk to me about what is that?
Well, they don't know you like I know you.
Uh-oh.
You're the king of let's just get another one.
Yeah.
Because
Easy.
but think about it, doctor, but that's a solution. Getting another one is a solution. But the logic, the fiscal responsibility that I have in this relationship meant no, go find it and use the money that you're going to spend on getting another one for the Con Ed bill.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
so some of this is just practical. And I think that as you navigate weighing out which decision to make about finishing and completion and determination. And you used an interesting word, a combo. Is it in your DNA or are you shaped that way? I think many of us are the combo. You get a little bit from dad, a little bit from mom, a little bit from grandma, a little bit from auntie, a little bit from your teacher, that person that you looked up to. You've quoted Dr. King many times in our relationship, and I've quoted Maya Angelou. I mean, there's great people out there that we've looked up to that we've seen their exampling of completion, of finishing, of winning, of being superpowers in their own way of using their superpowers in their own way. And I think that one of my superpowers is just really finishing something because there's such a sense of satisfaction in it. So I think that that's a desire, but it's also a development.
Right. So is it okay to have things unfinished? I guess the other part of me, part of being a psychiatrist is this, and you've often talked to me about being careful not to devolve into psychobabble, I think is what you said. I won't say the exact words you say, but I think, this is a, there are kids listening here. But do we sink into and sink our teeth into like not finishing and be okay with that? Is there ever a time when we can just sort of kick back and say it's okay to leave something unfinished? Because as I was saying, in psychiatry, we kind of can see where unfinished isn't always bad. But I know but so many of the people I work with are finishers, yourself included. Like there is no, to me, there's no room for the unfinished work or the unfinished business.
Well, I think we do have to have room for something that doesn't get done because maybe it's not meant to be done by you.
Mm. Mm.
Sometimes we start things and we're out of our wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real effort to get it done. Now we need to call up a tribe. Now we need a
Mm-hmm.
team. Now we need to
Mm-hmm.
delegate because we can't get it done. And you mentioned the sweet spot earlier when we actually are trying to get these up and out for all of our audience to listen to. There's a process with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll do part A and B. And if I just decide not to finish it and get you to the finish line,
Mm-hmm.
someone's going to say, and you've had it happen, where's Tuesday? Where's Thursday? So the elves out there who support Dr. Sweet, that be me, we got to make sure it lands. But you don't have to do it by yourself, is my point. Sometimes finishing means getting your team involved. You see it on the basketball court every day when you're working, or the field of football. They can't do it by themselves. It takes 5 of them, 10 of them, 15 of them, 20 of them. They say it takes a village, Dr. Sweet. So sometimes you can walk away. I'm going to give you permission, but I'm going to get you to the finish line.
I got it, Darcel. I got it. And you know what I like about what you're sharing there too? But first of all, before I say this, I want to also thank our sound engineer. We have Maha. We have other people. We have LG. We have great people that work and help both of us with our podcasts, and we wouldn't be able to do this without their amazing work. Sunny as well. I mean, we have really cool people who are so gifted and talented that help us get to the other side. And I think it's good to acknowledge that it does take a team. And getting back to what you just shared, which I thought was absolutely brilliant about unfinished, maybe it's not for you to finish. Maybe it's okay to walk away from something if and don't keep spinning your wheels on something that's not yielding and wasting your time and your effort and your energy when you can pivot. You can either do two things: get the help, as you said, and or pivot. Don't be too proud to ask for help or too proud to walk away and leave that particular thing for somebody else to do or move on to the thing that might be better for you. So, in a way, finishing strong might mean that you leave this thing unfinished so that you can accomplish what is meant for you to finish. And those are sophisticated nuances to understand because the real deal is that we will feel like sometimes we risk feeling like a failure. And that's why we stay in something so long and we try so hard. And the minutes turn into hours and the hours turn into days and the days turn into weeks and then the weeks turn into months and then the months turn into years and then the years turn into decades. And before you know it, you could spend a lifetime trying to finish something that maybe you weren't, and to your brilliant pivot that you don't always have to be the one to finish this, and maybe this isn't meant to be. And so reading the tea leaves and understanding that is so important here on Finish Strong Friday. Are you in the right race first of all. Is this the race that you should be running? And so maybe we need to go to another race or another game. So that's just revelation there. So as we wrap up for the Strong Friday, for the person who is in something and they're seeing progress, but they get a setback every now and then, what books or movies or what resources do you lean on or would you recommend to somebody to just help them stay motivated?
There's a lot out there. And again, since we're scrollers, you can choose maybe someone on LinkedIn or
Mm,
Instagram. There's a lot of influencers that fit your model
mhm,
and fit that area that you're trying to acquire more skill at or acquire more confidence about.
mm,
I am a fan of Maya Angelou as a poet, and her words were always so rich
mm,
about life, about everything in life. She had some wonderful poetry that gave us all wisdom around doing and not doing, being and not being, and action and being still, much like
mhm,
Dr. Martin Luther King, someone that you quote a lot. So I think that what we have to do as humans is figure out what works for us,
mhm,
figure out what or who models what that is for
mhm.
us, and then adopt some of those habits as our own.
I love it. I love the idea of finding a role model. I didn't think of it that way, right? Find a role model. Find somebody who's doing what you do, maybe better than what you did or accomplished it, or somebody who is at least on the same path that you can look at and maybe learn from. That is just brilliant. It's a wonderful way to end this week, to finish strong here this week. Darcel, thank you again for joining us on the Sweet Spot. Thank you for being a part of Finish Strong Friday.
I appreciate you having me, and I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Absolutely. Well, tomorrow, Darcel, I know we've pushed you, but listen, we're near the end here. But tomorrow is Self Care Saturday, and I'm looking forward to hearing what your self-care secrets are. I kind of know some, but I'll be curious to hear you articulate them tomorrow. So for everybody who's listening, join us here on the Sweet Spot tomorrow. It's Self-Care Saturday. If you're enjoying the series with me and Darcel, if it's illuminating and giving you insights, please subscribe. It's free. There's absolutely no charge. And if you know someone who may need to finish strong or needs to get some of these insights, please share this with them. We would love it. And until then, we'll see you tomorrow for Self Care Saturday on the Sweet Spot.
Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.